Right now, I want to dig into a bit of a microcosm of what's been going on the coronavirus front in one hot spot being investigated right now in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Of course, the state overall has not mandated a statewide mask order, and it has left, the governor there has left it up to certain counties to go ahead and institute their own rules around this. And today, Hamilton County, the county that houses Chattanooga, moved forward with their own mask mandate. And for more on this and the way that town has been handling all this, I want to bring on the mayor of Chattanooga, Andy Berke, joins us right now. And Mayor Berke, interesting to see, because you've been pretty outspoken about getting masks out there. Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee took a while to let counties go ahead and take this under their own control, and you had to battle Hamilton County as well to get this underway. Did it take too long for this to come into effect, and is it too late now?
Well, it's never too late to act, to start helping our public health policies. But one thing to remember is that Hamilton County is the center of the metro. We have lots of counties that surround us, and our hospitalization numbers are not just impacted by what goes on here in our county, but it's impacted by everyone around us, including northern Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about what's going on in the state of Tennessee, we did see record death numbers as well. These are the trends, you know, everyone's always afraid of when we see case counts rising, and there's a little bit of a lag time, but obviously you want to control that and control, flatten the curve is really what we've heard here. On that front, I mean, how prepared are you locally here, and how much more support would you like from a state and federal level when it comes to actually handling these cases? Because we've heard so many complaints from testing to PPE and everything else here to support frontline workers. What have you seen?
Well, we need a lot more support. There's no question about it. We have been doing more testing in Tennessee than some other states. That's good, but you still need the contact tracing, and you have to get the results back quickly enough so that you can tell people you need to quarantine, you need to isolate, and start to get to work on who they've been around. If you wait too long, then all of a sudden that spirals out of control. On top of that, we need so much help for the other things that are going on. The city acted quickly on rent relief, on making sure that we were helping small businesses that were affected, going above and beyond PPP in loans and grants to our local small businesses. But if we see further damage to our economy, then because of our own loss of revenue, we're not going to have the funding to support another round of that.
Yeah, I want to get into the economic impacts of all this in just a second, but real quick, one more question on masks, because the state of Tennessee, according to a University of Washington study, actually has one of the lowest mask rates in terms of usage in the country. Fewer than 10% of Tennesseans reported wearing masks regularly. Obviously, again, one of those states that does not have a statewide mandate in place. What do you attribute that kind of low rate to? Is it just because health officials haven't been explaining it, haven't been mandating it, or do you want to see more being done from even a federal level here to really push that, since we know how helpful it can be in trying to control the spread of this?
Yeah. The President of the United States has the biggest microphone in the world. He is telling people, in essence, not to wear masks, not to trust people who are talking about masks. That is very dangerous for states like Tennessee, where a lot of people are listening to this message. And I'm a mayor. I'm out there talking about this every day. We can't have cross messaging when it comes to public health and safety. When you go to the doctor, nobody asks you whether you're a Democrat or a Republican when you're figuring out, what's the right treatment. The same thing is true here. Mask cuts down 1/3 of the transmission. It's good for everybody. Wear a mask.
Yeah, and when you talk about the economic impact, since that does seem to be pretty important for smaller towns like yours, when we think about how the aid has trickled down from the state level through the CARES Act, you had mentioned that you only had about $2.5 million set aside to help small businesses through the shutdown. And when we think about worrying rise in cases, whether or not that could mean shutting down again, how prepared are you as a town to maybe weather this storm if things continue to get worse?
Well, I think that would be really the worst case scenario, because many business owners put their life savings into reopening. And so that first time they hunkered down, they did what they were supposed to do, they closed down. And then when they opened back up, everything that they had, they poured into that reopening. And so I take that very seriously as we're thinking about what the future is. And that's why the best case scenario is for us to do the public health needs to make sure that we are taking the proper actions to keep people safe. Yesterday, Hamilton County had its highest number of hospitalizations ever. Tennessee is on a skyrocketing trajectory. We've got to change that, both for the public health side and also for the economic side.
Yeah, and lastly, in terms of this phase 4 stimulus bill, a lot of Democrats right now pushing for more state aid. In your opinion, I mean, when we think about how that money is trickling down to smaller towns, I'm not entirely sure what it's looking like in the state of Tennessee, but what's your take on maybe how not enough is being done on that front to really make sure small towns through this are also being made whole?
Well, in the CARES Act, only cities that are above 500,000 got any kind of direct funding. As of this date, we have currently received exactly zero directly from any type of CARES funding. We need those dollars to support businesses, to support the actions that are going on. And for us, we know that as we see a budget crisis, that we have to reduce our own hiring. That, of course, affects people locally. And Chattanooga was expected to have the #1 city in the country for job growth this year. We've been in an incredibly strong financial position, and we're seeing this trouble. You know that lots of cities around the country are seeing it even worse.
Again, very important to watch here as we watch what could come through in phase 4 deal. Important to keep in mind. Very nice point to end on there. The mayor of Chattanooga, Tennessee, Andy Berke, appreciate it taking the time.
Hey investors, Zack Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.